coming up on every single muscle.
Listen to them, children of the night. What music they make. It's alive!
What's up, Internet? It's Halloween, and I didn't want to let the spooky season pass by without my very own Haunted Halloween special. And by that, I mean we're going to take a look at the current state of my wife's Universal Monsters toy collection, and also take a peek at the scary assortment of Universal Monsters sprinkled throughout my own toy hoard. No tricks today, just treats. Let's get to it. All right, I'm here looking at my wife's Universal Monsters action figure collection, and I'm here with my wife, who I guess we'll call Mrs. M.U.S.C.L.E. What's up, babe?
Hi, everybody. Welcome to my toys.
Yeah, so this is just a glimpse at your current Universal Monster toy collection. Where do you want to start?
I like starting with Burger King. So these came in the awesome little coffin or crypts. Guess we got a crypt here for Wolfman.
And he pops out just like that. And I think these are from the late 90s or early 2000s at the very latest. Pretty great. We've also got the Frankenstein here from the Burger King set.
Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah, no, you're right. Thank you for correcting me. I'd hate to see what the comments look like if I didn't get corrected there. So there it is, Frankenstein's monster. That one also comes with, I want to say it's a table.
I believe so. I would like to acquire that if we can find it.
Yeah, and then the last of the Burger Kings that we have is the Count Dracula with his coffin, and he springs up out of the coffin. Let's see if we can do it right there. Go ahead. Bro! There he is, springing up out of the coffin. He's missing his cape, unfortunately. And I don't know if there's a top part to the coffin. I suspect there is.
Probably.
So we're still missing a couple parts on that. We'd love to complete that. And the last one from that set that we don't have is the creature from the Black Lagoon. So that's something that we're on the lookout for.
That is a must-have because I love Creature, even though I only have one figure of him.
Yeah, and we'll get to that one in a minute or two. But next up, we're going to talk about...
Let's go to the Jack in the Box while we're sticking with kids' meal toys.
The Jack in the Box toys. So the first one we've got is this here, the Wolfman.
Now this is his howling position, howling at the moon. But for display purposes, we like to leave him down and leaning against this other guy.
There he goes. And then also Jack in the Box figure. We had this one for a while now. We didn't even know what it was. We picked it up just kind of on a whim one day in a claim sale on Instagram. And it is the Dracula.
He's got a button on his back.
He's got a button on his back. He's got a cape. Kind of, I don't know what the action is. I wouldn't even know what you call it, but he looks like he wants to fight.
Yeah, he does have, he's throwing fists right now.
So there's a couple other figures from the Jack in the Box set. I assume there's a Frankenstein's monster. There's probably a mummy or a creature. We'll have to look into it, but we are trying to complete the full set there.
Correct.
All right, the Imperial monsters. These are from the 1980s. They are kind of these big, bulky, they have some heft to them. They're really full of character, really awesome looking figures. So we've got the mummy, and we've got the Frankenstein's monster. And there are a couple others, and obviously if I saw them at the right price, I would pick them up too. These ones are actually mine, but I like to keep them with the rest of the Universal Monster friends here. So there they are with their buddies.
Now in the back, it's a little dark to see, but we do have a reaction. This would be Igor.
From Son of Frankenstein. You want to say anything else about that, Igor?
Well,
We've got Igor from Son of Frankenstein. Why do we have that here?
Well, that's because I used to work at Universal Studios House of Horrors, and Igor was one of the characters I got to play as I scared the guests coming in. And so there's a little special meaning for that one for me.
Yeah, so if you're wondering what my wife looks like, it's that right there. That's what she looks like. That's why they cast her as Igor.
The mask was strikingly similar to that face.
Oh, they had you wear a mask. Okay, then we've got the Placo Wolfman. This was a pickup that I got at the Englishtown Flea Market in New Jersey one weekend when I happened to be back east. and I just couldn't resist it. It's obviously, you can see it's a lot taller than all the others, and it's not as detailed, but it definitely has its own charm, and it's got this kind of soft, almost a little bit flexible plastic rubber to it. I think it's great. Like if I saw more of the Universal monsters in that scale, we'd be buying them too. But I think that's just a general statement about all of these, isn't it?
Of course.
Of course.
And we will move on, I guess, to the NECAs.
The NECAs.
So
most of these are new pickups for you, right?
Correct. Well, my first was the Wolfman back here. I saw him in a toy shop in Arizona in Phoenix, and I had to have him.
Yeah.
And then my two newest is the Mummy and Dracula, and Dracula's sweet because he comes with that background that I wanted to set up, as well as his bat. Those were a little birthday present to myself, as my birthday was just a couple weeks ago, so I picked those two up at Target for myself.
Yeah, so there's a plug for Target, which we needed to do. Okay, and then the last thing on this toy shelf is the creature. The creature from the Black Lagoon. This is a Jada Toys creature, so it's roughly the same size as the NECAs, but it's about a head shorter, and I'd argue it's even cooler, but maybe just because it's a creature. I like that these have a little bit more flexibility. They have a few more joints on them, and so you can pose them a little bit more. But the creature is just an awesome looking monster.
I think creature is arguably possibly my favorite of the Universal monsters.
Certainly character design wise, right?
So
It's hard to deny that. And then rounding out the collection, we've got your pop vinyls.
So we got each of the Universal monsters.
But these ones, I think they look great together. I'm not generally a pop vinyl fan, but again, when you put them all next to each other, they look pretty great. And then actually, lastly, here's our wall-mounted hippo head wearing a witch hat. Thanks for coming on the show, babe.
It's my pleasure.
So as you can see here, I've got a selection of Universal Monsters related toys as well. This was not a collection that I put together deliberately. It's just over the course of years, when you're a toy collector, you accumulate things. Monster in My Pocket, probably the most legendary monster toy of all, or at least that's what I'm saying from a 90s kid perspective. I have a full set, or at least one of every sculpt of the Series 1 Monster in My Pockets, and out of that group, we've got 5 characters that are technically also Universal monsters. We've got, of course, Frankenstein's monster, the Wolfman, the Invisible Man, the Mummy, and the Phantom of the Opera. Now, I also considered throwing in the vampire here, but he's not Dracula, he's a vampire, so I didn't even include him. We're just looking at these 5 right here. Then, of course, also on the mini side of things, we've got the Super 7 Universal Monsters Keshi Surprise figures. This is a special exclusive 6-pack that I bought at Comic-Con that year. They came in these interesting colors. We've got Dracula, the Mummy, Frankenstein's monster, the Invisible Man, Wolfman, and the Bride of Frankenstein. And then at some other point, I picked up a Mask of the Red Death Keshi Surprise figure as well. So I've got 7 of those. They're pretty great. This gray creature from the Black Lagoon here is from something called the Big Bucket of Monsters, which I don't have, but I do have a couple of those figures. Again, collecting all these minis, you just kind of end up with this stuff. Okay, to round out the minis category, we've got this MONSTEREX figure by Alien Robot Monster. This is a half Wolfman, half Frankenstein's monster hybrid creature with 2 heads. And a few years back, I want to say it was at a designer con, we picked one up because it was important to both of us that something like this existed in our home. You know, as I'm looking at it closer, I can see there's some creature from the Black Lagoon, gills on the side here, and he's got some vampire Dracula fangs here. So it's several different Universal monsters all wrapped up in one. Oh, yeah, and look, even got these straps here. It's the Mummy, too. So cool. Now, these are just some cheap Halloween decorations that I picked up recently. They're mini Halloween buckets of Frankenstein's monster. I had to pick them up. I just love that they have that classic blow mold aesthetic. I know it's cheap crap, but sometimes cheap crap is the best crap. Moving on to the action figures, we've got the Mummy from the Tales from the Crypt Keeper line. If you don't remember, in the 90s, they made a line of action figures for the Tales from the Crypt Keeper cartoon show. And so I don't have a ton of those figures, but I do have this one, and he lives, obviously, in my Ghostbusters collector's case. Oh yeah, baby, we're looking at battle trolls here. Back in the 90s when the troll craze hit a somehow all-time fever pitch, they even made action figures for boys, and I snatched up a whole bunch of battle trolls when I was a kid, namely these two that fit into today's category. We've got Count Trollula and Franken-Troll, which is maybe my favorite troll of all. And I saved the best for last. It's the Frankenstein Michelangelo Playmates TMNT figure from the 90s. This is vintage from my collection. I know that these are nowadays very highly desirable. I still got a couple of the accessories, which is kind of unheard of for my collection. Franken-Mikey, how do you not love it? Okay, I left something out that I absolutely have to include if we're talking about Universal Monsters. It's this mummy right here from the Socket Poppers toy line, known as Connectors in the UK. One of my favorite obscure toy lines that I'd love to do a deep dive on one day. But you're supposed to be able to pop off their limbs and pop them onto each other and kind of create these amalgams. But these figures are from the 90s, and those little nubs inside the legs and arms can easily break off. So I'm not going to be demonstrating that. But even still, I think this is a pretty great figure. Just take a look at this mummy. This guy's going to put a curse on you. Now, before we wrap up, here's a criminally underrated Halloween horror movie recommendation for all of you. It's Wes Craven's The People Under the Stairs. When a young boy teams up with some criminals to break into the home of his family's landlords, he uncovers a disturbing truth. There's some people living under the stairs. Seriously though, check it out. It is really something special. And with that, we wrap up another
Every single muscle.